Okay, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA today with professional fighter Fergus Jenkins. How are you, brother?
Oh, that sounds good, man. I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me.
That's it, man. Professional. Fighting at a Canterbury Fight Centre under Coach Hostile Karl Webber. Shout out to Karl. Man, how is it to be a professional now? One fight down, one nice finish. Feeling good?
Yeah, well, I suppose it's early days at the moment, but it's although I've only had one fight, I've been gunning for matchups for a while now. All year, been looking for a fight. So to actually finally be getting the opportunities to compete as a professional is, I don't know, life's feeling good right now. It was quite frustrating, going through that process and not actually getting the opportunity to put my work into action. But yeah, now it's a different story.
That's it, man. So it was back in October 25th, Shuriken Fighters League. You fought Luke Stokman. First round, nice single leg to back take to choke, man. Kind of a bit of one of your favoured sort of techniques, right?
Yeah, well, it was definitely like a signature finish as far as how I got it done in the end. But it was sort of late. It was the last minute of the fight that I got the first round, I should say, that I got the finish. So I actually spent the first four and a bit minutes of the fight in stand up. So that, yeah, although like the finish was sort of textbook Fergus Jenkins, yeah, I was a lot more patient with how I was setting things up, I felt like. And honestly, I felt like it was my best performance, the best I've ever felt in there. So that was a cool representation of all the work that I've been doing in the 18-month layoff since my fight over in Serbia.
Nice, man. Yeah. So in saying that, you felt good, man. Did anything feel different stepping up to pro apart from those couple of minor rule changes?
Oh man, honestly, it was a lot more fun. I'll be honest. Like going from 3s to 5s, I like having that extra 2 minutes to cook. Like having that extra 2 minutes makes a huge difference for my style, I believe. So, like considering I already had a lot of success at the amateur level doing the 3-minute rounds, I honestly feel like this rule set favors my style more. Even on the ground, I think having the elbows, for a longer, lankier guy like myself, like it can be hard to create space to punch on the ground. But now with the elbows and everything, that's really going to help my ground and pound, I believe. Although I didn't get a chance to throw any elbows in my last fight, which was a tragedy, but make up for it in this next one.
Yeah. Your style, you're pretty confident that you can grind people out, right, with the grappling, and like you said, those extra couple of minutes on top should help you in that game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if I get someone down after 2 minutes in an amateur fight, I've only got 1 minute to work. I got 3 minutes to work as a pro, so it's a huge difference in that sense.
Nice. I look forward to the time when it just clicks in your brain that you can throw those elbows when you get in a certain position and you just, I got the elbows now, let's go.
Yeah, it's so hard to train elbows because obviously I don't actually own any elbow pads. I bought some like shitty ones and they haven't quite done the job. So I pretty much just have to like feel it out a bit. So to actually plant those elbows on someone, I'm sure that would be a different feeling. Eh?
Yeah, bro, I fought stand-up, like mostly kickboxing, but once I fought with elbows and I was in a clinch, I thought, I can use my elbows. I just drop one. It felt so good, man, to be able to throw. And it's like you don't need to practice it so much when you know it on the pads. It's similar to a punch, right?
Yeah. Did you manage to cut the guy open?
No, I didn't cut him open, but hit him. Nice one. Over the top, just boom. Yeah. Bro,
I
so you got
imagine you
another
having
fight.
some sharp elbows.
Yeah, bony guy, bro. My legs don't feel too good either when you land a calf kick or a leg kick, bro. Hey, bro, so you got a fight coming up on the 7th of December, quick turnaround. It says against Nick. I can't see his actual details to check him out. What's he about?
Geezer. He looks like a big, strong guy, a big middleweight. Yeah, a lot of knockout power. Good, solid striker. So it should be a good matchup, eh? Nice,
man. So you're pumping through the fights. I imagine you'll want to keep going and get a few more early in the next year as well, right?
Yeah, well, after such a long layoff to get these two back-to-back, that's been exactly what I was looking for. So, and it's quite good timing, like coming like right before sort of like early December, before Christmas, New Year's and stuff. So have a wee bit of a break and then, yeah, I'd be keen to jump on some of the big cards over in Aussie early next year. Get in on an Eternal, get on a Hex, something like that. I mean, I'll take anything, any sort of fight I can get, to be honest. But the bigger, the better, and I want to get my name out there and get those high profile wins that count towards the UFC and Contender Series.
Yeah, man, heaps of Aussies lately getting a shot at Contender, man. So it's looking good through those promotions, right?
Yeah, a few Kiwis as well.
Oh yeah, of course, Cameron Rouston. What's his name?
Navajo and Aaron.
Navajo, that's right. Yeah. It's good to see. And Aaron Tao. Yeah, it's all good. Beautiful. Bro, what was the reason for that long break? I think you hadn't had a fight since February. Is it just hard to get the matchup or what?
Well, so after so that was February 2023, I had my last amateur fight, and I was pretty burnt out, like towards the end of my amateur career. And so I was pretty much at that point, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to continue fighting at all or not. So I took time off. I was pretty, as I say, burnt out. So I took pretty much like the rest of that. Well, initially I was going to like just take the year off. Wasn't sure if I was going to train or not. And then couldn't help myself. And then got back into competing and grappling pretty much immediately. Did a lot of wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Didn't do much striking until towards the end of the year. But pretty much all of 2024, I've been looking for a fight. I had a few sort of matchups fall through, and I had one fall through like just a week or two before the fight. That was the Hex card in May. So partly because I was taking time off for my own reasons, and then partly just because I've been struggling to find matchups, presumably because of my amateur achievements, I imagine.
Yeah. Man, what leads to that? Like you say, burnout, in what respect? Just from just training too hard for too many years, you just needed time out, or something else?
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be a contributing factor. I guess just like the mindset, the way I was approaching it as well was probably less less sustainable, I guess, like just kind of burning the fuse a bit from both ends rather than, whereas I guess it comes down to a lot of the core reasons of figuring out why I'm doing it, understanding myself as a person, as a fighter better, understanding my identity in that sense. So now I feel like I'm doing it for slightly different reasons and have a better understanding and more clarity around why I'm doing it, why I want to do it, and it feels a lot more sustainable, the approach now compared to previously, which is probably a big factor in the burnout. But at the same time, in 2022 I had 9 fights, so that's also a pretty big workload.
Yeah, that's huge, man. And that's going to contribute to your burning out for sure. You got to make sure you're getting that rest in between matches and also in between training and all that, right? So you can actually physically do it. Otherwise, very tough sport as it is. If you push yourself too hard, it's going to easily burn you out.
Yeah, and I think that's sometimes you get, whether it's a competition with yourself or other people, just trying to be like the toughest and who can like sustain the craziest workload. But it's about working smart more than working hard, I would say. Like, obviously working hard's like the bare minimum. Everyone's got to work hard, but the human body can only take so much. So what's going to actually separate you from the pack as you get to a certain level, like I'd say you can get to a good amateur level or a certain level as a fighter just by working hard. But in terms of separating yourself from other people in that top 10%, like that just comes down to how efficient you are with your training and how intelligent you are.
Yeah, man. There's so many people working on that now, right? As far as like optimizing training and optimizing rest and all that healthy habits and whatever, and dieting and sleeping and everything that goes around with the high level professional MMA fighter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's such a rapidly growing sport, eh?
That's it, man. Hey, man, I think I've asked you a couple of these questions before. I just got a list of a few questions I want to ask. I'm going to make like a compilation of a few fighters together answering these questions, if that's cool.
Cool. Yeah,
cool.
man.
First question, mental prep, man. Can you describe your mental preparation before a fight?
Well, a big thing I've been getting into in sort of over the time that I've sort of was having that sort of burnout and taking time off and I was doing this previously, but I've been getting a lot better at it, is mindfulness and meditation and stuff. So that's one thing that I think really contributed to my presence and clarity and improved performance in my last fight, was way better ability to just, be aware of the cogs turning in my brain and just be present in the moment. And so that's not something I necessarily do right before the fight, but in the lead up during camp, I consider that part of my preparation. And so on the day, I do some meditation, some visualization. I like reading. As far as out back, I don't know, I keep it pretty chill. Like, to me, it's just about staying in the present, warming up, and going out there and competing. I don't think there's anything more to it. I don't like to laugh and joke around too much. I'm pretty quiet backstage, like when I've got the fight to focus on, and I'm just kind of focusing on the present moment as much as I can.
Nice, man. Hey, next one, motivation, bro. What drives you to compete at the highest level, and how do you stay motivated? It's like we kind of talked about a little bit. How do you stay motivated through the ups and downs of training and fighting?
Well, I think I'm pretty inherently competitive. Like, I've got that that's a natural trait that I have. Aside from that, I guess there's a number of motivations. Like, I'm very motivated by self-improvement and that sort of traditional sort of martial arts journey. Like George St. Pierre is one of my idols in that respect. Like, so that sort of path of self-improvement. Aside from that, of course it's a job, so I want to make money out of it. And obviously the paychecks aren't too crazy just yet, but it's cool even getting anything out of it. But I'm looking to, up those figures a bit as it goes on. So that's a motivating factor, of course. I'm not too motivated by legacy, to be honest. Like, I don't really give a shit about legacy. Like obviously, like, the less you can care about what other people think of you, the better. And I don't know, I feel like once I'm dead, I'm just worried about, having a good life and getting fulfillment out of what I do. I guess another motivating factor for me is just I love the sport and I find it fulfilling on a day-to-day basis. So I want to keep it fun and keep it interesting. Yeah.
Did you see Tyson talking about legacy the other day? He says it's just some bullshit that people have brought up these days. Like, it kind of makes sense, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. Everyone's asking everyone about their legacy and everyone's answering about their legacy. It seems kind of strange to me. It's just a bit of a catchphrase or something these days.
Yeah. Well, I didn't hear Tyson talk about it firsthand, but someone was telling me we were talking about something along those lines, and they mentioned Tyson saying that, and yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like, I've never really understood that personally.
Yeah, me too, man. And after the fight, post-fight reflections, after a fight, what process do you go through in terms of self-assessment, etc.?
It's a good question. I could probably do more of that, to be fair. One thing I have weekly in my routine is I have a masseuse that sponsors me. So Jerry and Roe, who own Open Palm Massage, which is just a huge staple in my recovery and training. I mean, he helps me with lots of things. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt as well, but I go there for a weekly massage. And aside from just the tremendous, recovery benefits of being lucky enough to have that every week, he's almost like my sports psychologist in a way too. So yeah, I that's where I kind of reflect on a lot of things around myself and the sport. So that'd be a big part of it, is talking with him in terms of, and many other people in my life and my training as well. Yeah, that'd probably be the main thing. Just thinking, just talking it through with people, I think.
Bro, could you walk me through a typical day in your training?
Yeah.
Like
So
from
I
wake up
work
to sleep
currently. I
sort of thing?
work like what's that?
From like when you wake up to go to sleep, sort of what's your schedule of a general day?
Yeah. So I have 3 days where I work. So I do like sort of 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. 3 days a week. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. All my days off work. So obviously I have the weekends and then I have Monday, Thursday. So for example, today, day off work. I'm because I get up so early for my job. My body clocks always wakes me up real early. So up around 6:30 in the morning. Um, First thing I do is start the day with a cold shower. That's something I've been doing in camp. Just like I don't know, it's just kind of like it invigorates you a bit. It's like and starting the day with something challenging, I think sets the right tone. And then I meditate. Um, and then I have breakfast, which has been a bit smaller now that I'm going back down to middleweight. Um, and from there, actually, I kind of got my schedule wrong there because today I have strength and conditioning at 7:15 in the morning. So I actually go straight to strength and conditioning. Then I come back, cold shower, meditate, breakfast. Well, actually, breakfast, cold shower, meditate. Getting my orders mixed up. And then I've got a bit of time in between. So I'll usually do some stretching before my boxing session that I just had a couple of hours ago. That's 2:30. I do boxing at Wilson Boxing with my coach Otto. Um, and then I've got wrestling, back training with James Bishop, who's one of the top MMA fighters Christchurch has ever had. So he's a big part of my training regime as well. So yeah, I do. So to sum up, as far as training, I'm doing Essence today. I did S&C 7 a.m. boxing at 2:30, and then wrestling I've got at 6 o'clock. And then in between that, for my recovery, cold shower, stretching, and then meditation for my sort of mental training.
Nice, man. You mentioned that cold shower thing. I've been doing that too, just as a first thing wake up, man. It's so hard to go straight from the bed into the cold shower, but I'm trying to convince myself that an ice bath will be justified, but I've got to prove to myself first that I'll actually do it. So that's the first step
Yeah.
is that I can do the shower for long enough if through winter, then I can get an ice bath, you know?
Yeah. How have you found the benefits?
I feel good, man. Like you said, it invigorates you, wakes you up. Like I get to the gym, it's only like a 10-minute walk for me to get to the gym, and when I get there, I feel much different. If I've gotten up and had a cold shower, really wakes you up, right? Gets you in that right frame of mind, you know.
Mm.
And it's a challenge,
I've
man.
heard that it like I think it doubles your baseline dopamine or something, and like the length of time it lasts for like 4 or 5 hours compared to and you don't then drop below your baseline, which compared to like anything else, like if you had a block of chocolate or something, or like a chocolate bar, like it's going to double your dopamine, but then you're going to have a massive dip. So it's like
Yeah,
quite unique in how it affects your
yeah.
your body chemistry. Yeah.
No, I'm a big fan of like that sort of stuff, saunas and all that, bro. So try and kick on with that still, bro. Injury management. How do you approach your injury prevention and recovery?
Well, I do a lot of stretching, so I feel like I do a lot of static stretching to try and stay limber and flexible. I obviously, you know, warm ups. I do sort of general body mobility stuff a little bit for warm ups. I'm not too hard out with my warm ups or anything. Like I've been pretty lucky with injuries. I've had only a couple, nothing really major, couple things. Um, yeah. So that probably just like the basic stuff, just staying flexible, having a bit of a warm up. Don't really have anything too strict in that sense. Yeah.
Yep. And future plans, like what are you looking forward to after life in the cage, etc.? Any ideas? Are you going to stay in the sport as a coach? Are you going to work? What are you going to do?
Yeah. I definitely want to own a gym someday. So I don't necessarily see myself as like wanting to coach in the UFC and be a professional, because that sounds like a really hard, taxing job. So I kind of I'd love to obviously teach and pass on my knowledge. Um, but yeah, definitely owning a gym. Yeah, I mean, I want to just have a lifestyle where, especially after I'm done fighting, where I just have enough freedom to do the things that I want to do. So nothing that ties me down too much, I suppose.
Yep. Cool. Bro, thoughts on CTE and brain damage in MMA and combat sports? Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's pretty scary, eh? So, like, I guess that was one thing for me when I was fighting in Serbia. That was another thing, is like I got dropped in my fight with a spinning something. And then I'd actually been dropped in training camp as well for that fight. Yeah, so that was like, I'd been knocked down previously one time in a fight back in New Zealand. So it hadn't happened for a while, but then to have that in the training camp and then the fight as well, that sort of made me a bit more like aware of like, this is a real thing. And I think it does take a while you don't realize how long it takes to recover from, a knock like that, eh? So I'm even like, I think like it just comes down to minimizing the contact in the gym. So like I've been sparring a lot recently because I've been very active with fights and stuff, but I'm looking forward to over the summer taking a good bit of time off, taking knocks to the head. So I don't think you should be getting punched in the face every week. You've got to take responsibility in your training to minimize the damage, because that's where you're going to take serious damage, is just stupid sparring. And I think my style as well, I definitely am not a brawler, so I think it's smart to approach the sport with a lens of trying not to get hit.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, man. I was just thinking when I was asking you that question that your style's kind of prone to maybe being able to avoid a bit of contact, but sometimes we gotta, there's a difficult thing for you guys. Like if you go into something like Contender and that, they don't want a grinding sort of fight, right? They want people to get knocked out or choked out or whatever. Whereas the style that you have might not be as suited to that, So it's a difficult one. People obviously put themselves in more harm's way to become more popular as well, right?
Yeah, I don't want to be the next Torres Finney, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Bro, just one final question, just a silly one. If you had to fight a bear or a lion or a gorilla, which one would you choose and what would your strategy be?
Yeah, like I was actually talking about this with someone yesterday. He was talking about, could you choke out a lion? Like if you started with a rear naked choke, fully locked in on could you finish it? And I think absolutely not, eh? Like
That's right.
I don't even know if I'd have like long enough arms to wrap up a rear naked choke on a lion. But yeah, I can only imagine like the strength of one of those things there that throw me off. So what was it? Lion, bear,
Gorilla.
Shit. Man, I reckon a bear, eh? Like I think the odds are stacked against me, but I think I think Vegas would I'd get the best Vegas betting odds against a bear compared to the other two.
Yeah. And what would your strategy be
Probably
then?
try and get to the back, eh? Try and get to the back, finish it with a choke.
It's over. It's a small bear, brother.
Yeah. Andre.
Yeah, that's it, bro. All right, man. That's all the questions I have today, bro. But thanks for your time again, and look forward to seeing you progress, man. Look forward to your next pro fight coming up. It was on 7th of December, Shuriken Fight Series 19, fighting against Nick, Event Finder Stadium. Good luck with that, brother.
Awesome. Thanks for that, man.
Cool. All right, man. Thank you. Cheers.